Hey, you guys, I am so excited to be back. A lot of you know that I have been gone for about a month, a little over a month. I've been traveling and doing some work, some play. It has been really, really fun, but I am so excited to be home and I'm excited to be back with you guys. You guys have been so patient. You know that we do our questions and business videos and trainings every Tuesday unless I'm traveling. So I traveled so much this last month that it's just I've been gone a long time and I am excited to be back with you. So we have a lot of questions today. Try to cover a lot of them. I'm going to put my phone right here where I have my questions listed. So first question I have today is, what percentage of a business income would you say it is practical to expect from focusing on spas? So that's a really good question. My percentage is probably higher than most people, but that's because when I first started this, I did not want to talk to my friends and I did not want to talk to my family because I had an attitude about network marketing. And so I went straight to spas and expos. That's where I went. And that's where I found the people who wanted to do essential oils. So I went to Las Vegas. It was actually one of my sisters, my sister Sylvia. She wanted to do this. And we talked about going to the spas down there. And I said, if you will make all the appointments, make as many appointments as you can in a week, I'll go down there with you. So we went down together. She totally did it. She did an amazing job. Do you know how hard it is to get an appointment with MGM Grand or Treasure Island in Las Vegas? It is not easy. It was amazing. She did an amazing job. Our entire schedule was completely full. And I was brand new to doTERRA. I had just heard Dr. Hill teach, a few times. And I thought, well, this is awesome information. I'll just kind of regurgitate that information. So that was the very first thing I did with my business. Most people, it's more you're helping the people around you, helping family members. So for mine, it's really hard to put a specific percentage or number on that. And so I'm going to tell you what probably the range that I think mine is in. Mine is probably in the 10 to 20% range, maybe less, maybe more like 10. So, and mine, I would guess, is really high because we've had a lot of that on our team. And because I got good at working with spas, everybody who came onto my team, not everybody, a lot of people who came onto my team wanted to learn how to work with spas. So we have a very, very powerful spa training, which if you are wanting to learn more about how to work with spas and you haven't seen some of the recent videos I did on this Facebook group, go back and look, because I did some trainings on how to work with spas, some real specifics about what to do. And this is probably part of the reason this question is coming up. But I would say don't try to make your business about spas. Try to make your business about these oils are powerful. Who needs these? If you're a mom with a child who has, I'm going to be compliant here, so I'm not going to say the names of diagnosed illnesses, but if you're a mom who has a child who has a really hard time concentrating, who has really tons of extra energy and their moods are up and down. If you're dealing with something like that, then your passion might be somewhere along those lines. You might end up working with a lot of moms, or you go to a group for moms who have kids in this situation. So now you're working in this group, you end up sharing the oils there. So what happens is, because of your life, you end up sharing essential oils based on the people around you, who you care about, the things you care about, the things you're passionate about. So don't get off of that and go, oh, I need to go do spas. Yes, the spas are exciting. And when you see the trainings that I did about how to approach spas, you go, oh, now I know how to do it. Now that makes it easy. Of course they're approachable. But so don't hesitate to go do it, but don't approach it like, I've got to make the spa industry a certain percentage of my business. And by the way, I know that's not what you're asking. I'm just kind of covering a lot of different thoughts that I think a lot of people might have about this specific question. So go, if you're excited about spas, go talk to spas, but don't feel like you have to make all of your business about that. Do what feels good, what feels exciting for you. Share it with the people that you notice need your help, the people that you think of who you could serve. Focus on it like that. And I think that naturally what will happen is you'll end up seeing spas that you think, oh, I want to go approach that spa. And then a lot of times what happens is I'll have people on my team come to me, and they might be my third, fourth level. Now they're like 20, 25 levels down or more. And they'll come and they'll say, hey, I have this spa I have a friend who works at the spa. She's the buyer, and they're really interested in our oils, but I don't know what to do. How do I talk to them? How do I set it up? So a lot of times it will start to come to you through the networking process. Just like, for example, I've got people, hundreds of thousands of people on my team from different countries. How many people did I know from other countries? Some, but not a whole lot. But it just starts to spread. The network marketing thing, it goes out and it spreads, and it starts to touch lives that you didn't know it was going to touch. And now you get to be an influence and help people. And it honestly, this business, one of the most beautiful things about this business is, besides the people we meet and grow to love and the people that we get to help, it actually allows us to experience more of the world and more of life and more of people in a way we never would have before. Before doTERRA, I knew the people in my town, I knew my neighbors, I knew my friends from other states that I had lived in, and maybe people in my area, or if I was in school, the people that I knew at school, and if they were from a different country, then I might know them. I might know the people in their family. I would get to know people that way, but it was very, very finite. Now it's like, it is infinite. The world is the limit, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I see lots of hearts. I know you guys feel the same way. Okay, so there's that question. Hopefully that answers your question. Again, I'll just end by saying I would assume mine is about 10%, and mine I believe is high. But maybe it's bigger than that. Maybe it's 20% because of all the people in my downline. But it does, whatever percentage your income comes from, it won't matter if it's from clinics or spas or individual families or whatever. But I will tell you this number that might be helpful. In doTERRA, a healthy number is 85% of your business will be consumers and 15% will be builders. So when you look at your team and you feel like, oh, I don't have very many builders, start looking at that and counting it out. Look how successful doTERRA is. My team is successful. And guess what? 85% of those people are not really, quote, building a business. They're consumers, because we're out there helping people. And there will be people who then want to do what you do. So, okay, next question. I am launching a new builder who is from Russia, and she is interested in building there through her network of contacts. I would like to learn how to support her. If you could please share any information or advice. I'm excited about this question because I was just invited to speak on someone's podcast about building internationally. And so it's not out yet, but I'll share with you some of the things that I shared with them. The beauty of Russia is that a lot of the hardest hurdles have already been jumped over. They've already been fixed. So for example, they have shipping in Russia. I'm not going to answer this question by talking about how to open a country, because Russia is open. All of that harder stuff at the beginning has already been done. Okay. Now, even though that's the case, you need to be very compassionate about how hard it is for them. Okay. Because for example, when we started in doTERRA in the United States, we didn't, it was super hard. We had no business tools. We had no trainings. Nobody had done any trainings yet. So we really literally had nothing. We didn't even have the oils yet. It was the promise of the oils. So what do you think I feel like when I'm helping open a new country and they've got, they can order all the oils from the US and it just takes a long time to ship and they're getting all frustrated? What do you think it's easy for me to feel like? It's easy for me to go, are you serious? Are you kidding? Because I had to walk uphill in the snow both ways. So it's really easy to use our circumstance to decide what they should feel. Just realize it's really hard. Think about the hardest things in your business and the times it's been really hard, and the people who act like, oh, we'll just do this. And you're going, I already tried that. Okay, because I will mentor people that they'll tell me their problem. I can already see, I know exactly what they need to do. And I listen and listen, try to, hopefully help them feel heard. And then when I start to give them the plan of what we're going to do, there are some people who constantly, oh no, I've already done that. No, I did that, it didn't work. I did that, it didn't work. Is that you? Is that totally you? Do not be that it didn't work person. I already did that person. Because I can promise you, the ones who are humble enough, and now I preface it. Usually when I'm working with somebody, I am super loving, but I get pretty tough too. And I say, okay, so this is the deal. Do you want me to Do you want me to tell you the whole truth, the way that is going to help you the most, but it's going to be a little bit tougher for you to hear? Or do you want me to give you what's a little bit easier? It'll help you. You'll be able to grow and you'll be able to do some steps, but I'm not going to give it to you as hard. And I have never had someone who doesn't say, that everybody says, no, tell me the truth. Tell me the whole truth. But the beauty of it is once I preface it by saying that, now they're ready. Okay, this is going to be hard. I'm not going to like to hear it, but I'm ready. But if you don't do that, and then you start telling them all this stuff that they need to change, or even though they've asked, it's a little bit hard. So the very first thing I would say, the way you can support this person is absolutely be understanding and caring and compassionate. Now that does not mean don't be tough. Because I'll tell you what, when they were opening Russia, oh my goodness, Olga, I know, would not mind if I share this with you. She has the biggest heart. She was one of the ones that helped open that country. And she and some of her team members, they were amazing. And I'm sorry for the names I'm not naming because they deserve to be named. But Victoria and her husband, Dimitri, anyways, they are amazing. But I'll tell you, there were many times that there were tears, and it was frustrating and stressful. And one time when I first met Olga, I was talking to her and she was telling me of some of the things that they were dealing with because Russia wasn't officially open and they were having to take care of things. Well, guess what? It was all stuff we had to deal with in the US. All stuff that, most of the stuff was the same that we had to deal with. So what if I had acted like, oh yeah, I know, I did that too. I know I had to do it. No, doesn't matter that I had to deal with it. I'm not going through it right now. They are. I need to be there for them. So we cried together, and it was super hard. And she was going through hard things. And she was basically almost ready to quit. And she was the one tracking all the shipments, over 1,000 people. She was having to track all the shipments, make sure people got them, set up the orders because doTERRA wasn't shipping there yet. It was unbelievable, the process that they had set up. They had become a shipping company, basically. It was unbelievable. And their house was full of boxes. Their whole living room was full of tons of the shipments once they came in, until everybody came in and picked up their orders. Unbelievable what they did. So some of you hopefully are thinking, phew, maybe I don't have it quite so hard. But I cried with her. I cared about her. But then you want to know what I did? I got tough on her. I'm like, no, you are in this position for a reason. And you started this, and you are going to finish it. I didn't even give her a choice. I'm telling her, you're going to finish this, and these people are relying on you. And you know what? You are in this position for a reason. You are going to be one of the biggest leaders in all of Russia, and you're in this position of influence for a reason. And it's not going to be easy. So do you see how you can be compassionate and loving? Make sure you give plenty of compassion, but then push them, help them be what they need to be. But not because you're telling them, no, you can't quit. Talk about what they can become. So number one, that kind of emotional support. And there's a reason I listed that first, because all the business support is ultra important, but the emotional support is going to be the most important. Think about your business. If you didn't have emotional support, the friendships, the camaraderie, the feeling of the doTERRA culture, would you even be doing this still? No, there are too many hard things. So give her that. Then make sure that she gets the trainings. I don't know if she speaks English or not. And the beauty of it is now there are teams established there that are pretty big, and they have lots of amazing training, a lot of amazing information that they share with everyone, okay? There is actually a book that we used. I went out and did a retreat there a month or two ago, it was a couple months ago now. We did a retreat, and we thought we were gonna have about 100 people. We ended up having to expand. I think we went up to 300 people. We sold out 4 different times. And then we had people upset because they weren't fitting in and they wanted to come. You guys, we ended up with 400 people at that event. The last event that they had, doTERRA event, corporate, was 250 people. This is why we thought we would have 100. We had 400 people and they were eating it up. And we have a workbook that someone on my team, it's the one that Patrick and Elise use at their retreat. And it was one that someone on their team helped put together so that people could use it. And I love Patrick and Elise. You want to know what they said? They gave copies to Russia, and they said Russia could translate it, but they said you're not allowed to sell it to people. You give the digital copies. People can print it out or whatever. And at our event, it makes me emotional just to think about this. At our event, they knew they couldn't sell it. And so somebody on one of the doTERRA teams, she paid for published copies. You guys, these are thick books like this, spiral bound, and I think it cost her like between $2,000 and $3,000 to pay for those. She bought one for every single person at our event. I offered to help her. She just did it. You guys, they're amazing. So I just want you to know you are in for a treat working with these Russian people. You're going to love them. And this is something I told them when I was at the retreat after we'd been there a couple of days. And our last night we had a big masquerade ball. We had a huge party. It was super fun. And one of the last things I told them was this. I said, you guys, I knew that the Russian people, I'd been to Russia before. I knew that I love the Russian people. They're amazing. And I said, do you guys want to know what your reputation is around the world? And they all said, yeah, except I heard a couple people say, no. I said, you don't want to know? But I told them anyway. I said, you guys are known for being tough, for being a proud people, like proud of your culture and being tough and strong. And I said, but something that I didn't realize, and I told him you should be proud of that because it is, like, people look up to that. I said, the thing I didn't realize is how much heart you have. I said, you guys have been and this is true, I said, you have been the most loving and caring of each other, of me and my staff, the way they treated each other, the things, like, they cared about people so deeply. I said, duh, I knew you guys care about people, but I did not know that it was to this extent. I said, I have learned something new about the Russian people, and you guys are truly amazing. You make me want to be better. So get in. Olga, what's her last name? I'm thinking Goddard. It is Olga Goddard, but she got married, so I'm not sure if that's still her. Yeah, that's her last name. So she is the biggest leader in Russia right now, I think. And she is amazing, totally willing to help people. So you can get a digital copy of that Russian manuscript. And in fact, I think we got a copy of the digital. So let me talk to my office team. If we have it, then I will post that for you on my teresaharding.com resources. So go look for it there, and you will, but you are not allowed to sell it. This is so that you can use it for your teams. We're giving it to you so that you can use it and help other people, okay? So, and the teams there have translated it. They just translated it for everyone to be able to use. It's awesome. So seriously, those two things, emotional support, and make sure they have the training that they need. If she speaks English, I would absolutely recommend that she go through my One Sample Away, onesampleaway.com. Go check that out because it is changing people's lives. I have people now bringing their whole teams back in to do it. My office team, you guys, they love you so much. They said, we're having such a huge response to the One Sample Away, and the people are freaking out. We're having people come back for a second time to do it again. They said, can we please, and I didn't even realize that was happening. They came to me and said, what would you think about giving a discount to people if they've done it once and they want to do it again? I'm like, oh my goodness, I would totally do that. And I love that they love you guys so much that they are thinking of these things and wanting to take care of you guys. So that's the second thing. And the third thing I was saying, by the way, you guys, this goes for anyone you're building, anyone who's on your team. But for international and for local, you need to be on the phone with them. You need to have a strategy session with them every single week, once a week. And I would recommend you use my weekly strategy worksheet that is in my teresaharding.com. Go to resources, go to business, and it's in there. Weekly strategy session, and do the one that is simplified, because we have one that's more advanced that's more for if you're really trying to push at the end of the month and somebody's really trying to hit a rank, okay? But for your normal strategy session, just use the simplified version. In front of you, there are two different ones. Well, there's the simplified and the regular version. So use the simplified. But in the simplified, there are two different papers. One is for the downline and one is for the upline. So you have the paper that says upline in front of you, and it guides you how to guide them through the strategy session. It walks you through the process, tells you exactly what to do. And they have printed out the one that is for the downline. They have that in front of them. So it doesn't show them that I'm telling you exactly what to say, okay? So that's super important. So do the strategy session every single week, and it tells you exactly what to do in the strategy session. So, and if you have, I think I have a video on YouTube that is how to run a strategy session. I'm not positive if that's on YouTube, so check that out, but I just do that training a lot. Okay, let me see the next question. Have you ever turned someone away who wanted to enroll on your team? Yes, many times. How did you do it, and what did that look like? And I'm assuming you mean because they were already working with someone else. Because otherwise, why would you turn them away from being on your team unless they are so toxic that you do not, it's better if they don't work with you on your team. Like, let's say you have a really toxic relationship with an ex or something like that. Maybe it's not best to have them on your downline. Maybe help them sign up with someone else. But let's assume that this is because they found you, they think you're so amazing, they want to be on your team instead of the person who's been working with them. This is exactly how I say it. It has become so standard, it's not even, like, I don't even have to think about it. So this is what I say. Let's imagine I've taught a class, somebody came and they hear me say all this stuff. They're like, oh, she totally knows what she's doing. I need someone who can help me like that. And they say, you know what? I've been looking at the oils and blah, blah, blah. I want to work with you. I want to be on your team. And I say, oh, awesome. Like if they don't specifically say, I want to be on your team, like I want to enroll with you, I'll say, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll totally bring you in. We'll help you be involved in our trainings and all the things that I'm doing, that kind of thing. Because you guys, I have this Facebook group. I have other stuff that I'm doing. Even if all you're doing is a weekly call with your leaders, I don't care what it is. You can let anybody get on there unless it's just your qualifiers or something like that. That's okay to keep certain things private. But for the most part, most of what you do, anybody could come. And, you know, imagine my situation. You guys, we have millions of people on our team. And so here I've got people who are coming to me from my team way down line. I cannot mentor each person individually. And I have people from other teams who are coming and saying, I'm not on your team, but would you mind, you know, is there any way I can get involved in whatever? I created this to teach the lesson that, you guys, doesn't matter whose team you're on, and it doesn't matter what your situation is. Aside from my private group, my private calls with my qualifiers or a specific team that I'm working with on something, people are welcome to my trainings. And do you think this training is going to be any different if I'm teaching someone how to work with one of their leaders who is international than anything I'm going to say if it's for somebody else's team? It doesn't matter. I'm going to teach the same thing. So if we can affect more lives and help more people, then let's do it that way. So I say that, and usually I know their meaning, I want to enroll with you, but I don't even act like that's an option, because in my mind, no, I mean, that's not even an option. It's like saying, can you turn the sky bright orange? No, I wouldn't even think about that, because I don't do that. So if they even say, oh, I want to work with you, I'm like, oh my goodness, you can totally come to our trainings, you can do it, whatever. And then a lot of times that's all, like, they'll get all excited, and then they'll say, well, when are the trainings, and what are the whatever, that kind of stuff. Then I start listing them and letting them know. Now, if I only say one thing, if I only say, oh yeah, you can totally come to our trainings, is that very exciting? Does that feel like, oh good, now I'm getting help? No, that does not feel very good. You need to list at least 4 things. Say, oh my goodness, you can totally come to our trainings. You can, when I'm doing classes, I'll show you where I post them, so you know exactly where my classes are. And if, you know, when you have people in that area, you can let them come. And I make sure they get enrolled with the right team. I have a Facebook group that you blah, 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 whatever. And whenever I'm doing trainings, I post it, like if I'm doing, if I'm doing digital trainings online, I'll post it here. I also have a YouTube channel where I have tons of trainings that will help answer a lot of the questions that you'll have. So notice how I list 4 things. I only listed 4 things, but all of a sudden it sounds like, oh, I've got this whole magic arena of all this stuff that I didn't have before. But if I just say, yeah, you could totally be part of our trainings, that doesn't sound very good. And it makes them still want to feel like, no, but that's not what I mean. I want to be on your team. So I say that, and then if they push it, or they say, I want to enroll with you. And I have people who are really strong-willed, who are very smart, and really want to run with this business, who would be amazing frontline people. They'll come to me and say, no, I'm not working with anyone else. I want to work with you. And this is what I say. I don't even act like, oh, I'm so sorry, we don't do that. I act excited. If you act like you're so sorry, then guess what happens? You've just created a situation where they feel like something bad just happened to them. Oh, something bad happened because I can't be on her team. Make it exciting that they can't be on your team. So I say, oh, no, we don't even do that in doTERRA. And then I proceed to go say what I just told you. I say, but you could totally be part of our trainings. And then I say, list 4 things. Because again, if I don't list several things, what happens? They feel like, well, that's not good enough. That's not the same. And so, I'm going to say that again to give you guys practice. In fact, I want you to practice it out loud, that you act like it's so ridiculous, but not like you're making them feel stupid, but it's so ridiculous that that's not even on your radar, that you go, oh, no, we don't do that in doTERRA. But, and then you get all excited, but oh my goodness, you could be part of our trainings. You get on my calls. We have tons of people who do that. I work with so many people who, maybe they're that kind of thing, but don't keep pointing out, I won't be your upline, but you can come to my trainings. Don't keep pointing it out. I don't even say that. I just act like, dude, you are part of my team. Come in. That's what I act like. So by the time I'm done talking to them, we're helping them enroll. And they're like, no, but I really want to be under you. Oh no, we don't do that. So what we do, and now I'm helping them enroll. I'm like, what we do is, all we do is we put the person you've been working with, we put them as the enroller, and then we'll just proceed like I talked about. So and then I even say, oh no. Can you imagine? We don't want to be like other companies. That's what other companies do. Like if I'm working with someone and then someone else takes them and signs them up with someone else, rarely do I have to get to that part of the conversation. That's only if they're pushing super, super hard. So anyway, there are a couple times, maybe 3 to 5 times where I've had it get so far where they're saying, sorry, I'm not signing up with someone else. And I can do what I want. It's my choice, and I'm signing up with you. So then I get the person who's been working with them. I say, let's at least have a call. Let's have a call with this person. So we get a 3-way call with the person who they were going to sign up with, right? And we talk about it. And I basically do the same thing. I'm saying, but I make it sound like, let's say Katie is the person who was going to get the enrollment. I'll act on the call. And I'll even talk to Katie ahead of time so that they know what the plan is. I'll talk with Katie like we're business partners. And so now we are one. And I'm like, so this is what Katie and I want to do. Katie and I, blah, 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 whatever. And I ask Katie, okay, what kinds of trainings are you going to be involved in? Sometimes I'll even invite Katie to come be a guest speaker on my training so that when their person signs up with them and they come to my trainings, now Katie is one of the guest speakers, which helps give Katie credibility. But sometimes Katie doesn't want to build. And I tell the person, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. We don't do that in doTERRA because it doesn't matter. The reality is this is your business. Whoever you're under, we're going to help you build your business. Now, am I going to do private personal mentoring? I probably don't have time for that. I've already got my people that I'm scheduled with, that I'm working with, and that's what we're going to do. But I'm not going to point out what they're not going to get. I'm just going to point out all the things they are going to get and how amazing it is. Okay, so Gina is asking me, in your opinion, what's the best strategy for building a diamond level organization? Some of us are having to clean up our organizations because we didn't use placements wisely. Okay, my heart goes out to you, Gina, because I know exactly where you are. And sometimes when I'm working with people on this very thing, I tell them this, and it's true. I seriously have never seen someone's organization who was a bigger mess than mine was, because I said at the beginning, I'm not going to build. I'm not going to build because I hate network marketing. So I purposely just put people everywhere. I was not going to do that. And so by the time I obviously decided to do it and then cared about it, it had created a huge mess. And it was a mess that kept going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny. Because as soon as you make one wrong placement that wasn't the best choice, or you build somebody's team that you shouldn't have built and you kept giving them enrollments, now all of a sudden every enrollment, if that enrollment belongs to someone else and that enrollment grows big and grows a team, you've got a lot of major problems just from that one. For every single one that you did, you've got problems. So I seriously have never seen a bigger mess than mine. And look, we fixed it. I'm working on my double presidential, and we're getting crazy tons of enrollments from our online stuff. We're getting our follow-up systems in way better order so that we're taking way better care of people. So I'm telling you, you can fix it. So the answer for that, like the very specific answer for that, is very long, but the beauty of it is I've already answered it, and I'm going to tell you where to find it. It's actually in this Facebook group. How this Facebook group got started was because I was going to do an 8-week course on placements. And I will tell you, That is exactly what I would tell someone who's trying to do diamond. I don't care what you showed me on your team. I don't care like what the mess is. You go watch all 8 of those, and I'm telling you, they are long. They are long. But is 8 hours, maybe 1.5 hours sometimes for those videos, is 1.5 hours 8 times. Is that worth hitting diamond? I'm telling you, yes, it is. And obviously you think it is because you're asking the question. I want you to go watch those videos in order. And I'm telling you, it will help you solve almost every problem, because I don't only, at first I talk about all the mistakes that we make. And so you'll get depressed at the beginning and go, yes, that's exactly the problem. You might even cry, literally. And then I go through all, but you have to understand the mistakes and what not to do. So stop doing those. And then in the later videos, I go through exactly how to fix each of those things. So I will warn you, the first video that we did, I was doing a big overview, thinking that that's what was needed. And then from the questions I got as I did that, and it's in this Facebook group way back when we very first started, okay? So if you look in the videos, you'll find them. But from the questions I was getting from that first week of the placements training, I realized, oh my goodness, like we need placements trainings, and people do not really understand what I understand because of all the stupid mistakes I made, and what I understand because of all the things I learned. And almost every rule they've had to change in doTERRA on placements, probably everyone, was because of something that happened on my team, or a problem that I caused, or a problem that someone on my team caused. So I was usually kind of involved and knew exactly what was going on. So I just want you to understand, I know what I'm talking about. And what I try really hard to do is show you the pros and the cons, the consequences. If you make this choice, I recommend you don't make this choice. In fact, sometimes I probably get sassy and say, don't ever do this. And I say, if you do, this is what your problems you're going to deal with. If you don't, then these are the consequences, the good or bad consequences, okay? So that first video is the overview. And then I realized I've got to start right from the very beginning. The overview is still helpful, so that's why I've left it there. But then the second week, I start from scratch, and I just go, okay, I'm going to explain every little thing. And that's why there are so many videos. That's why they're so long. So, and it was the rough draft. I'd never done a placements where I did that much information all in one training. And so what we will do is we'll perfect that process. In fact, I've been working with a coach who has been helping me perfect the beginner process for beginners on placements that we'll be able to put out. It won't come out till next year, but and then we'll do an intermediate and an advanced. But it's all the information that's in there. It's just in a more organized fashion so that it's easier to go step by step. But it's all there. So go check that out. And then let's see, I think we have time for one more question. Allison says, I hear a lot about inviting to a class after sampling, presumably at their own home. What about inviting people to have their own class? That way, more new contacts. Love, love, love it. Okay, have you heard, Allison, have you seen the training I've done on the new essential oils class that we're doing, the new basic class? It is super simple, super easy, super fun. And I am telling you, if you have not seen that, that will answer your question, because basically in the class, we show you exactly how to get classes off of classes. So that's in the class. You're telling people this is, you basically get them all excited to have their own class, but you can take that and tweak it for an out of class experience. So you could totally do the same thing. And when somebody is, for example, when somebody is talking about how they love the essential oils and would these help my sister and that kind of thing, and you start talking about that and say, as you talk a little bit and say, oh my goodness, she can use them for her child's irritation in her ear. She can use them for this. She can use them. If she wants to learn about the oils, we can go do a class with her. We can totally do a class. We can have her invite her friends. You can come, and I'll even have you share some of your favorite oils. And I just make it sound like a girl party, like it's going to be so much fun. And honestly, I do the same thing with guys, only I don't act so giddy. I just am like, dude, this is cool. Oh, we could totally do that. Yeah, we do a class. You see what I'm saying? So the stuff that I say, it works in any situation, but what you do is you tweak it for the personality of the person you're working with, for the situation, for someone, if someone's more interested in building a business, or someone who's only interested in being a consumer, because I invite my consumers to have classes all the time. So absolutely, absolutely do that. So in the class, we we basically use the little keychain, and I talk about why that works so well. You guys, it's based on hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on market research, and that is why that class came about. So you need to understand that. And it is the easiest class and the most fun class you've ever seen. And I will tell you this, when I went to, they asked me to come speak in Korea they were having their leadership summit or whatever with all their top leaders. I went to Korea, so it was, I don't know if it was 200 or 300 people or so, I don't remember how many, but it was in the hundreds. I was presenting, and I was teaching them how to teach that class. How many of those presidential diamonds, and I think it was silvers and above, how many of those people do you think knew how to teach a class? All of them. All of them knew how to teach a class. I said, I am going to teach you how to teach a class in the most easy, the most simple way. You will have more people wanting to have you come to a class at their house, and you will have more people wanting to start teaching classes, because this is so fun and so awesome. And so what I decided to do is actually, instead of teach them how to do the class, I actually did the class with them. I said, I'm going to do the class with you right now. And you guys, this is with translation. So I have to say the thing, and then the translator says, translates what I just said. So now I'm trying to tell a joke, because I would do that in the class, and then the translator tells half the joke. And then you have to stay animated and kind of frozen in place while the translator says the thing. Then you come and you say the end of the joke, and now it's supposed to be time to laugh, but nobody's laughing because they can't understand a word you're saying. Then the translator says the end of the joke, and you kind of have to be in the right, keep your body in the right position so that now you can all laugh together. It is not easy. And so even in that setting where I'm speaking in a different language, I am telling you guys, I had these leaders, they were jumping out of their seats, running up to the stage, wanting to be part of what I was asking. And the first time I asked a question, which is what I would ask in the class, and they're super easy questions, like, okay, who can tell me this? And somebody raised their, a bunch of people raise their hand, but just kind of raise their hand. And when they answer the question, is super easy. They almost think it's a trick question because it's so easy. And then I would say, exactly, that's exactly right. I have a special gift for you. Guess what the gift was? Teeny tiny sample bottle of an essential oil. Do these presidentials and silvers and blues in Korea, do they have probably every oil? Yes, they have every single oil, and they can afford them. And guess what? I'm giving a sample of wild orange. And she was so excited. She's like, oh! And so she got her oil. She came up to the stage. I gave it to her. She went back down. I did the next part of the class. And part of it is then you ask the next simple question. Okay, so who can tell me? And everybody raised their hands. By the end of the class, people were jumping up like this. They're like, me. Because they wanted their little sample, you guys. And then we bring that feel into, you guys, we do these classes. And in order to, and basically we say, okay, so this, look at this keychain. I'm going to show you this keychain. Then I tell them all about it, and I tell them how I use it. And I have lavender in here because then when I'm in this situation, when I'm traveling and I'm kind of worn out, I can just put it right underneath my nose. And I share like 3 or 4 situations where I use my keychain. I say, so who would like one of these? And we show them, the keychain, and by the time you're done, everyone's had so much fun getting their free oils and all this stuff that now, guess what happens? Now they're raising their hands. I want one. I say, well, guess what? You can't even buy these. I just give them away. And they're like, oh, I want one. I say, but you have to earn it. And so I show them, and there's a process that we do. And so what I do is I take out all the 8 little bottles that are empty, and I say, whoever books a class with me to do a class just like what we did tonight, you get one of these. I'm giving you one of these for free. And for every single person that you have in attendance at your class, I'm going to give you a full bottle of essential oil that goes in there. So if you have 8 people at your class, then I'm going to fill up your entire thing. And guess what? You would not believe how many classes you get off of that. So you can see how you could tweak that to make it fit a situation where you're just talking to someone on the side. Say, oh my goodness, we do the coolest thing. We have a special gift that we give to the people who do a class. So you see what I'm saying? Okay, so if you want to know how to do that whole full class, I want you to check out, well, there are a couple places. You could do, I have the one sample away, and that trains you for an entire month. I walk you step by step. I hold your hand through the process of building your business. So Gina, are you the one who asked about the diamonds? I don't have it pulled up right now. Let me see. Yeah, so Gina, if you're serious about this, what I want you to do is check out the One Sample Away, and it will teach you every single step of the process. And then go watch those videos. Go watch those. They're all free. The One Sample Away is $100, you guys. And the reason I charge for it is because I didn't used to. And people would quit halfway through and act like it was no big deal. It didn't matter. I realized it's not helping. So I charge $100. You want help with your business? You pay $100, and you get a lot through that whole process. And when I offer this to generic network marketing, the training that they're going to get is not going to be that cheap. But I needed to throw a number on there that hurt just enough. That if you're serious, you'll finish. Because at the end of the 30 days, guess what? Everything disappears. All the trainings. So you get every training in detail, everything you need. So check out those placements videos. Check out One Sample Away. And I truly love you guys. It's so fun to do these videos. Good to be back with you guys. And now I'll be around for a while. And by the way, Florida, next week we're in Florida. How many of you guys are from Florida? Some of you guys may not be Florida, but we're doing our big Florida retreat. There's a perfect number of people. We've got a good sized group, but enough where we get real personal and we get to know each other real well. It's so, honestly, it's super fun, but at the risk of sounding cliche, it really is. It becomes special. So I'm super excited about it. Can't wait to see those of you who are going to be in Florida. And let me see if I have any other questions. Mishmash says, I have a question. What if your organization falls apart due to interference from your upline going into your organization, causing massive issues, and it is values being compromised, so people now want to walk away? How would you handle the situation? Honestly, I would get help from someone you trust and have them meet with your whole team. And I am actually going to offer that I'm going to do that for you. If you have enough people on your team that will get together, because if only one person on your team cares about this, then it's probably not going to help that much. But if you have enough people, Mishmash, on your team who will get together and it will make a difference for them, if you can say, hey, I am going to, Teresa Harding has agreed to meet with us, and you can't get into her schedule. And she has agreed to meet with us, and we are going, and by the way, you guys, I don't think I'm so important. I'm just saying, if that's something you can say to them that will help them feel like, okay, it's worth my time, then we can get in there and I will mentor you on how to handle it, because I will lead the discussion. I will have them, and I'll do exactly what I just taught you guys today. I'm going to walk them through having compassion, making sure they feel heard, and then I'm going to be tough on them. And then, and if you trust me, we'll do that. I'm offering that to you. And I don't offer that very much. So, but this is something I care about. And there are a lot of lives here who are at a crossroads that I know what these oils do. I know what this business does for people. And so if you want to do that, private message me, and I will have you work with my team to coordinate something if that works out. All right. I love you guys. Thank you guys for coming, joining me today. And I will see you next week on Tuesday. Okay, bye.